Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin in Real Life. Although lately it seems like this episode should be called Questions About Bitcoin in Real Life. But anyways, I have another question here, another viewer here. And let's see if I can get this thing to focus here. Oh boy. For some reason it's... Okay, Mr. Senye Nyawang. I think you made some comments before and you've been watching for a while, and thank you for watching, but it says here, merchant, sorry, it's just getting blurry on me. There we go. Okay, it says, merchant processing for yourself needs more explanation. Okay, well, okay, instead of getting a third party to merchant process and paying them to do that, and also, you take on all the risk of fraud and everything and being back charged and everything. One of the things you can do is just use the some of the software that are out there that are free to use. As far as merchant processing, as far as Bitcoin use, you can just set up a wallet and come up with a price that you're willing to accept, or strike at a price of your local currency to strike a price of local currency to Bitcoin, and then come up with the amount of Bitcoins that a person has to pay you. On a consumer level, that would be basically if you had a store and for whatever reason your local currency is not very desirable, and you take other forms of currency, maybe a foreign currency, like a lot of countries accept US dollars and use US dollars as a currency, or you could accept gold, silver, or whatever. Bitcoin may be another option for you. So if you're in a country that for some reason your actual local currency is not desirable, and you want something else, and let's say it's Bitcoin, you could just set up a wallet and just accept Bitcoin as payment and for your goods and services. So you're merchant processing for yourself, that kind of, in that sense, on a consumer level anyway. When you get up to a commercial level of merchant processing, where you own several or you have several operations, several business operations or several organizations in which you need to transfer money back and forth and back and forth, for your commercial activity. This is where merchant processing for yourself really takes a huge benefit. So let's say you have 5 different legal entities, and whatever they do, one's a fried chicken franchise, the other's a furniture franchise, the other's I don't know, goods and service. Another one is nothing more than just a property management company that manages all your property, your office buildings, your your apartments or your homes, or and you have them out for rent or whatever. I'm just whatever it is. My point is, if it can be merchant processed today, it can be merchant processed with Bitcoin right now as well. And so, anyways, my point is, merchant. Going back to your question or this particular question, merchant processing for yourself needs more explanation. Well, at some point in the future, there will be no more Bitcoins to mine. Okay, all the Bitcoins will be mined, or at some point, the amount of Bitcoins being mined becomes a trickle to the point where either the price has to go up very high um, for people to continue to mine Bitcoin, which I think will happen. Also, the amount of Bitcoins that you're able to purchase from mining companies or miners or um, you know is going to decrease the amount of Bitcoin. So uh, what you have to do and what you're going to have to do in the future is you're going to have to mine Bitcoins that are already in existence. Or in other words, you have to mine for Bitcoins that are already in someone's wallet, that are already in integration. Um, so you could say that it's another phase of of Bitcoin where the mining is no longer um, as prevalent or as easy as it is now. It's going to get harder, so there's less Bitcoin that are going to be sold out into the market. So what you want to do is you want to set up your mining companies, your mining rigs, and these companies will be called or be considered mining rigs. Um, and what they're going to do is they're going to try to get the existing Bitcoin that are out in the market right now. And so you'll have several of these companies, and at a commercial level, um, what's integral is actually to have an investment company because that's the true engine of of how this all works. Is the investment companies will buy those Bitcoins for the sole purpose of trading them at a higher price for a profit. And well, there's also the same investment company will also be owning some of these other companies because the investment company is the one that created those companies in the first place. So what's happening is you're merchant processing for yourself because you you've started these companies, all right, or you started these organizations that accept Bitcoin. And what's going to happen is, you know, depending on how the transition goes, either these companies are going to pay their suppliers or pay their expenses with Bitcoin. If not, then obviously they need someone to sell these Bitcoins to get whatever currency they need. If I'm in the US, it will probably be the US dollar to pay my overhead cost and expenses. So um, the thing about merchant processing for yourself is you'll always have someone who's willing to buy your Bitcoins. And you can sell these Bitcoins to yourself. In other words, you can merchant process for yourself. So my fried chicken business will sell these Bitcoins not to Coinbase or BitPay or anybody. They'll sell them to me. And I will pay whatever I think is fair. Since these are my companies, I'll tell them what to do and where to do it and how to do it and when to do it and where to do it too. Does that make sense? So, that's what I mean merchant processing for yourself. I don't know if that needs any more explanation. By the way, if it gets too I don't know if that's any more complicated than what I've already said, merchant process for yourself, but I'm not sure if you meant if you need more explanation on what merchant processing means or how to do it. Basically, if you're an existing business and you're using Visa or Mastercard, well, it would mean to stop using them and start using Bitcoin and start merchant processing yourself for yourself. If that makes any sense. And then here's another one. Sounds interesting, but doing your own processing sounds like you don't talk about other people than yourself somehow doing business on your own. Okay, so let me try to break that down. Okay, sounds interesting, but doing your own processing. And you put a little question, little dots in there. Yeah, do your own processing. When you're trying to build an organization, it's just a natural step. Shh, be quiet. It's just a natural step of growth in which you're trying to organize yourself and grow larger or manage different manage different operations. So eventually you can actually absorb a lot of cost or save money or actually make money on those costs, turn those costs into a benefit by actually taking over those process for yourself. So if you were doing a lot of transactions and a lot of processing and everything, and instead of paying a third party to do that, you could become that third party, and therefore you can just literally cut that third party out and start offering this to your own business if you get large enough. So it's more of a cost savings and a benefit. And later on, as you do this and you add one more organization and you add another organization, and you keep adding to it, it becomes more beneficial to you, if that makes sense. Then your second part is sounds like you don't talk about other people than yourself. Well, no, I don't, because this is not for other people. This is for me, and so it's what I'm sharing about my experience and not sharing other people's experience, because I don't know what it's like for them. Now, if they feel like they can, pick up a camera and talk into it or talk out of it, it's they want to put a video up and everything, then good for them. But as far as other people, I don't really talk about other people other than how they interact with me, mainly because I think it's kind of for a little bit of privacy reasons. I don't really mention other people because I'm not making a video about them. I'm making a video about my experience and everything. So let me see here. Somehow doing business on your own. Okay. No, I'm not doing business on my own. I do have partners in different companies. They are all somewhat interlinked and networked to me somehow. Somehow I do have a hand in its creation, or I may be an investor, or maybe contracting with other people, or verbal agreement. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do business with someone. The good old days of just honesty and a handshake and a verbal agreement. A lot of people still do business that way. It's not always about signing, contracts and getting, attorneys and everything, and It's not about getting third parties involved here, where things have to be recorded and documented. Sometimes it's just one-on-one, and it's just whatever comes out of your mouth that you both agree on is a start of a good relationship sometimes. Um, so it's not always, mega mergers and acquisitions and that kind of bullshit. In real life, people just agree to do business together, and if you keep that relationship in good condition, um, things go well, you know, and sometimes that's what happens in real life. That's how you start to get things done. So, anyways, I hope that answered your question. Um, I do things on my own, but I'm not doing this by myself, if that's what you mean. I do work with others. Uh, Others are literally my partners. Others are just people I do business with, on a verbal agreement. I mean, it all starts out a different way. In the end, for me, I do want everyone to be a part of my organization, because my organization does one thing and one thing only, and you know, we, or I specifically, um, build out the new world, and we do that, or I do that, with the use of Bitcoin, and that's how I'm going to build out the new world. And it must be, for some reason, I'm just compelled to do it that way. I'm compelled to build the new world using Bitcoin. And whether some people do that or not do that, whatever their purpose or agenda is, they're in it for their own reasons, but I'm in it for mine. And if helping them helps me, I'm okay with it. If helping other people achieve their goals and objectives helps me achieve my goals and my objectives, I don't see a problem with that. So I'm not really on my own, but I do things on my own. But I'm not doing this by myself, if that makes sense. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Um, Hopefully I'll give you some more episodes of what I'm doing in real life with Bitcoin instead of answering all these questions. But feel free to ask away, anybody. This concludes this episode. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.